All right, it's been a little while since I've done an album review, but I'm super excited to do this one today. We're going to be looking at the new album. Well, it's been out for a little while now, but the new album from Nitrate called Feel the Heat. So this came out in October, and a lot of times I try to reserve judgment on albums until I've heard them many, many times, at least 8 or 10 times, so I can try to appreciate everything that's going on with the music, because sometimes you don't get it all the first time. And I was really excited about this album. Nitrate's last album, Renegade, was, simply one of the best albums of 2021. It was phenomenal. And it introduced Alexander Strandell as their new lead singer. And a lot of you know him from Art Nation. And what a great move that was, because he's fitting this music perfectly. So you have Alexander Strandell, you have the Martin brothers from Vega, and of course Nick Hogg, who's the mastermind behind Nitrate and has been since the beginning. And he writes most of the stuff, and you put all these guys together and it just seems like something good would come out of it. And that's exactly what's happened. And I gotta say, Nitrate, when you're on Facebook or social media, they're very responsive. They have a strong presence online. And, if you make a comment or say something, they'll thank you right off the bat. They're very accessible that way, which I think is very, very cool. And why not? I think more bands should do that. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into Feel the Heat. I've got lots of notes on this because to me, if this isn't the album of the year for me, I'd be shocked. We'll find out in a month or two when I do that video, but this album is stupid crazy good. Albums shouldn't be this good, but this one is. So let's just get right to it. So it leads off with the title track, Feel the Heat. And this song is just, it's epic. It's powerful. It's got, a great guitar solo. The solo reminds me a little bit of, some of you may know the album Shattered by Seven with Mick Devine, and just some of the guitar work on this first song just reminds me of some of that material for whatever reason. But this is a song that I just think would be awesome live. It slows down in the middle. You could just kind of feel the heat, feel the tension a little bit, and as it slows down, I could just see that on stage as it kind of and builds back up to the end. But what a great song, and kind of an interesting beat in the background. And they do this they do this again on Big Time towards the end of the album, where it's almost this, how to describe it, almost a little Latin flair to it, or something a little bit different with the percussion. So it's an interesting twist to it. But, I love the solo on this song too. It's such a great opening song. Again, all I can say is that it's pretty epic. And instantly likable. It's not one of those catchy choruses, that sort of thing. There's plenty of that on here. It's just so raw and powerful. Now the second song, All the Right Moves, talk about a song where you don't have to hear the song 10 times. You know what you have right off the bat, and it's all good. It's all pure, catchy, awesome hook, chorus that stays with you for days in a very good way. You know what you're getting once you hear it. It's just like the perfect melodic rock song. It would have been a huge hit back in the day. But the chorus is just infectious. The solo's great. It's perfect the first time you hear it. And really, this whole album is pretty much perfect the first time you hear it. But there are some songs that you can appreciate even more as you listen to them over time, I think. So All the Right Moves has pretty much all the right moves. It's really just a fantastic melodic rock song. Wild in the City, I think, was the first kind of single they released in social media. What I like about this song and several of the songs is that, they don't even waste anything with just the verses and the tone and the feel. This one has kind of a I like those melodic rock songs that have a little bit of an edginess to them, a little, whatever you want to call it, a little urgency in the verses, a little almost anxiety, but just an edge to them. And this one definitely has that. It's got a nice pre-chorus as well before it gets into the actual chorus, which is also very catchy and just pure melodic rock bliss. Great solo. Just, I mean, I'm going to be repeating myself here, but just another fantastic song. And then you get to the next song, Needs a Little Love. Wow. Again, I mean, this is a beyond perfect chorus. Again, just, I could see this on, I don't know, I mean, you could throw this on like Vital Signs, Survivor in the mid-'80s or something. I mean, Jim Peterick would be in awe of this song if he hasn't heard it. I mean, it's such a fantastic, this may be the best song on the album. I mean, I don't know, it could be 1 out of 11 songs, and there are 11 songs on the album, so you take your pick. But wow, is this song fantastic. Just not too hard, not too soft, but catchy as heck and perfectly written. I mean, I don't know what else I can say about that. The next song is a duet with Issa, and it's a ballad, One Kiss to Save My Heart. And this is a perfect ballad. It's, to me, the only other ballad this year that I can think of that rivals it is Kiss in a Dragon Night, the one with Gabrielle Duvall and Robin McCauley. That's a fantastic song as well. But boy, this song is perfect. The way they just kind of trade off with the verses and everything. They complement each other so well. They sing together so well. What a perfect choice as a duet partner. This, I mean, you name it. Pick an 80s movie with a ballad, and a duet. This would have been huge. And that's the shame. I mean, really, these songs need to be heard. They need to be marketed, around the globe. They need to be, at the top of the charts because, unfortunately, some of this music kind of gets lost in the shuffle. And really, there should be more publicity surrounding like an album like this. I mean, this is just, it doesn't get any better than this. So what a great ballad. Then there's Live Fast, Die Young. This is another one where the verses have that sense of kind of urgency, or at least that's the feeling I get, urgency and purpose. And this song to me sounds like something that would have come off of the first Find Me album, if any of you are familiar with that material. It like just the riff during the verse just reminds me that guitar as it kicks in just reminds me so much of the first Find Me album. That's a good thing because I'm really a big fan of Find Me as well. So another great solo. Again, I'm repeating myself, but next song, Haven't Got Time for Heartache. I love the verses on this one. They have a lot of attitude. They're kind of hard rocking. And then there's really kind of a shift when the chorus hits. You don't really expect the chorus to sound that way given what's leading up to it, I guess. It all works. Awesome solo on this one. Just kind of rips. It just, another just fantastic song. Then the next song is Satellite. And this is a little bit more mellow. Another one of these, choruses that stays with you. It's very 80s sounding. And I want to say I was reading somewhere where they liken it to like a Starship song from the mid-'80s. And I can totally see why they said that. I mean, I don't think that came to mind for me when I heard it, but when you listen to it and you think about it in that way, it absolutely could be like a Starship song. Again, that's a good thing. Because all of us have great memories of those bands from the 80s. Well, Starship or Jefferson Airplane obviously had origins before the 80s. But if we're comparing these songs to anything in that vein, then obviously these guys have done a great job with this material. The next song is when I'm listening to people or reading things online about, you know, the album and people's favorite songs and stuff, I gotta say, maybe it's a guilty pleasure, I don't know, because this one is definitely, it's definitely kind of in your face. It's pretty straightforward. But this has been my favorite song on the album since I got it. Over time, that may or may not be the case, but this thing, I mean, as far as like a rocker, and Paul Lane with some of the background, you know, woes, you'll when you hear it, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you've heard it, you definitely know what I'm talking about. It just, I mean, the verses are strong, the pre-chorus is awesome, and the chorus just strikes you like a hurricane. It does exactly what it says based on the title. What an awesome, harder-edged song. My favorite so far, but there's so many to choose from here, but really like that song. Then there's two more, Big Time, just great verses again, another great solo, and the chorus has a little bit of that funky beat behind it, kind of similar to the first song, Feel the Heat. So they kind of brought back a little bit of that sound. So clearly there was some intent to do that here on this album. And it works for this one too. Big Time is often in my head, like all these songs. And then the last song is a little bit different. It's called Stay. It's very emotional. There's a nice build-up throughout. Very powerful, emotional song. And a great way to end the album. So you could probably tell just, you know, based on how I felt with all these songs. I mean, this is a 10 out of 10, and there's not even a question. I mean, it's an 11 out of 10. This album is flawless. Every song is basically perfect. The order in which they're presented is well thought out and perfect. This album for me, because I am a big Nitrate fan, I really liked Renegade, but it's kind of early to tell, but I think I'm going to end up liking this one even more. Renegade to me was a 10 out of 10. So really, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I'm kind of an old school guy. It's been very hard for me to kind of adjust to music, you know, after kind of the 90s hit. It was very different for us 70s and 80s guys. But the melodic rock world survived, and a lot of these bands, again, don't get the notoriety they deserve. But in the last, I would say, I don't know, 10, 15 years for me, you know, the bands that I really, really enjoy are like Black Swan. They're a little bit more of a recent development, and obviously with some musicians, if you're familiar with them, you know, Jeff Pilson from Foreigner/Dawkins and Robin McCauley, and some of these guys have been around for a while, but oh man, their two albums are awesome. I hear they're making a third. White Widdow from Australia, though they've taken a little bit of a hiatus. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they're going to come out with their 6th album, but I really, really like them. Big fan of Fans of the Dark. They might be my favorite from the last couple of years. A little different twist with their music. And I really enjoy Art Nation, again with Alexander Strandell. But Nitrate now, for me, with this album, is now, at least for the past 10, 15 years, is now, you know, right there in those, you know, top 5 or 6 bands for me. I'd love to see them live. I hope that's a possibility. I mean, I'm in the States, so I don't know if they would ever come out here, but man, if they can get a festival and get some of these bands that I mentioned together, I would fly out there to see that. These guys need to be playing gigs somewhere. They just need to. They're too talented not to. So that's my review of Nitrate. Definitely a 10 out of 10. If you are at all interested in melodic rock, you got to get this album. You probably have it already. But if you don't have it, do yourself a favor and get it, or listen to it, you know, on some streaming service. But I always recommend and support buying the CDs if you have a CD player and you're old school like me. Help support some of these artists as much as we can. But this is a no-brainer, and it's probably going to be album of the year for me. So until next time, keep enjoying that music. Talk to you later.